It's Friday, April 2nd, 2021, and this is The Inbox with Greg Nibler. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. I do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, share the show, let other people know about it, no matter where you are. It is, of course, Friday, as I already mentioned. We're going to kind of wrap up some of the biggest stories in tech and entertainment from this last week. As we go through those, we can take your comments. Let us know what you think. Drop those in there. Even if it's afterward, let us know what your thoughts are on what we are covering. But let's start off with this. This is the big news today, and it has to do with Apple Arcade. What's Apple Arcade, you may be asking? That is a fair question for some people. And what it is Apple's, basically it's their mobile game service that they launched last year. And so far hasn't really taken off like they thought, but they're hoping these new games that they're adding on are going to help that out. So the announcement is that they added about 30 more games onto the service, including a bunch that were actually that people wanted for quite some time. Fantasian is going to be on there. They've got a bunch of classic video games that are also going to be joining it. And all of this is part of this mobile package for $5 a month. You play them. Clearly, you need an iOS device in order to do this, but it is a lot of options that they're going to be putting in there. So taking a look here just at some of the different ones, going down the list of them, like I said, you've got Fantasian. You've also got classics like Monument Valley, Fruit Ninja are joining into these, all part of the service. These are paid. You don't have to pay extra when you're playing these, so that's kind of a bonus on there. And several other ones. You know, this is a standalone service with Apple Arcade. You can also include it into one of the bundles of the other services that they had. So if you remember, they've got a whole bunch of them now. It's kind of a pivot that Apple was making with Apple Fitness Plus, News Plus, TV Plus, all the pluses. And so there's various different bundles you can include it in as well. This is something that they're hoping is going to spur more people to go try and play this. One that I definitely would be interested in is the newer version of the Oregon Trail. If you are familiar with the classic version of the Oregon Trail, yes, it's dysentery all day long. It's an awkward phrase I just used. But nonetheless, I would say that the Oregon Trail, the new version of it from Gameloft, it looks pretty fun. This would probably be worth $5 a month for me just with that, let alone some of the other ones that are going to be included in there. So again, Apple Arcade, bringing that in. And I want to know what you think. Is this something that a lot of people are subscribing to? Have you been using it already? Are you excited about this? Does this make you now want to spend that extra money or include it in the bundle or even use it? Or is it still, not interested? Because there are a lot of competing services out there. You've got Google Stadia with what they're doing, Microsoft with everything they've got going. Nintendo is going to have their own kind of version of this. So there's a lot of competition. They're hoping this would be enough to get you in there. NBA 2K1 also being in there. So check all that out. That is part of the Apple Arcade extended service. Let us know what you think if that's enough to get you to switch over. Speaking of video games, there is a record that has been set for the most expensive video game ever sold at an auction, and it is a Super Mario Brothers copy. So here's what happened with this. This is $660,000 that somebody paid for this copy of this game. Yes, it's in mint condition. It's in the box. A couple of things, key things that they said of why this one sold for so much, because it vastly broke the record. The previous record was $114,000 for a mint copy. So this one in particular, taking a look here, it's got, and this is according to the auction, it's got the hang tab that was on it. So the hang tab is apparently a very big deal to have that on there. It's plastic sealed. It's also only the fourth version of Super Mario Brothers ever produced. So that's really where the actual value comes in. This particular version was only made from mid to late 1986 till early 1987. So it was a really short window that it was available. It didn't have certain logos on it. And that is why this ended up being sold for so much. That's still ridiculous to me that anybody would pay $660,000, but hey, somebody's paying, that much for NFTs. So I guess this is at least something physical that you can have. Of note, I will say that I have my copy of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt that is for sale for significantly less. You can drop in your bids on there. It went through a fire, so it's a little bit charred on the side, but nonetheless, it's still, I think just as valuable. It's got character. And this is something that I feel like, maybe you can drop in your price for there. Just name your price. I'll mail it to you. So there we go. Anyway, that is what's going to, it's being asked right now. We have a question coming, I believe, of whether or not I would autograph it. I will autograph it. That is an additional surcharge. We can discuss that. We can discuss hand delivering it to you. Like it's everything's up for sale. Let's just be honest with that. So drop it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you're looking for. All right, continue on here with our trending news for this kind of end of the week. And I'm just picking some of the biggest stories that I think you would be interested in hearing about. Let's talk about augmented reality, not virtual reality, augmented reality. But here's a plan. Let's put it on soldiers. So that's what's going on. So the U.S. Army has just signed a contract with Microsoft for the HoloLens to deploy them to troops. And it's, I believe, 120,000 devices that they've had this contract for. It's going to be for about 10 years. And for those of you not familiar with the HoloLens, you may not see it a lot because of the fact it's usually geared towards commercial operations. It's not really something that you would buy just as an ordinary user to try out around the home. This thing's designed for technical, industrial, commercial uses. Like some of the astronauts have been using it. You've got some high-end manufacturing using it. And essentially, for augmented reality, that's what it does. It overlays things over the top. So the idea is that the Army would be able to give these to troops. They would be able to overlay whatever it is that they want, maps, views from drones, all of that as part of this headset that would go on there. The contract itself is $22 billion for this. $22 billion. Is what this contract could end up being for over the 10 years. So that is a lot of money being devoted to augmented reality. These things got to be pretty amazing, you have to think, for whatever it is they're going to come out with for these, because they got to be standalone. You would think the battery life is a huge issue, so if they can master that. And that's part of the other thing with this, whether or not you agree with Microsoft working with the military on this. And there's a lot of people, just to acknowledge, within Microsoft's corporation that asked them not to do this. They are going forward with it. And the thing is, with this technology that they're developing, eventually that stuff can probably filter down to other use cases, for ordinary use cases. So it could be exciting to see what actually does come out of this, but that is where we're at. So Microsoft with this contract with the HoloLens, $22 billion, outfitting 120,000 troops. And you would imagine that's just to start with. But think of all the different things that could integrate with that. Pretty fascinating to see where the tech goes, at least. Let me know your comments, though, about everything else as well. All right. One more story here, and then we're going to talk about what to watch in April. But let's go to NASA. And yes, with the rover that is now on Mars, there is the helicopter that we have been highly anticipating to take its first flight on a planet that is not Earth. This is a big deal of what's going to be going on here. And it is now being pushed back a little bit. It was going to be happening no earlier than, I believe, April 8th. Now it's April 11th, but that's still coming up within the next week and a half. We could see this thing actually take flight on Mars. Right now, it's unfurling, and they put out a bunch of pretty cool videos of how it's going to work. So they drop it down there. It has to unfurl and run through a bunch of tests, and then the rover itself is going to take off. But this thing could fly. They were going to be trying it out for all kinds of stuff. It's a demo really right now to see if they can do it, if they can have a controlled or even autonomous flight from Mars to here, which would be incredible. The views that it could get will be something like we've never seen before. This is a really, really big experiment. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go off without a hitch. Maybe it won't work. It's again, a demo that they're trying with this, but if it does work, it's going to be so cool to see this. A helicopter with a bunch of cameras strapped to it. And really, I say helicopter, it's more like a drone is what we're looking at. But this drone that could fly there, eventually what they would have it do is scout the Martian landscape, maybe for different places to land. It could eventually go into like caves, all kinds of cool sci-fi kind of stuff that could be happening in reality, all because of this helicopter. So they're going to be keeping on releasing more information about what it's going to be doing, so you can follow along with that. Some great stuff for that. But April 11th is what they're targeting right now to hopefully send that thing up. It's pretty awesome, and I will be reporting on that right here. So there we go. Just some news stories to catch up on, to be familiar with as you go into the weekend. But there's something else that you need to catch up on, because it is now April. Yes, April 2nd, as I said at the top. And with that, we've got all kinds of new things to stream, new TV shows, new movies that are out. And so we put together just kind of a little video showcasing what some of the big ones are that are coming out here this month for you to watch. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. But it's already the 4th month of 2021, which means it's time for another video showcasing what new movies and TV shows are being released. So here you go. Here's what to watch in April. To start it off, an honorary mention has to go to Godzilla vs. Kong, which dropped on HBO Max on March 31st. The epic battle between the giant lizard and the enormous ape is one for the ages and likely sets up more monster movies in the future. So make sure you catch that one before someone spoils it for you. Moving on to April 2nd on Hulu, we get the release of the documentary WeWork, or the Making and Breaking of a $47 billion Unicorn, which documents the phenomenon of WeWork and how the company rose to an extremely high value, all while co-founders Adam Neumann and his wife Rebecca reveled in a cult of wealth and a really strange office environment, to say the least, before the smoke and mirrors came crashing down. This has all the makings of a Fyre Fest-style revelation. Netflix adds to the ever-growing library of superhero movies with Thunder Force on April 9th. The movie takes place in a world of supervillains led by the King, played by Bobby Cannavale. Octavia Spencer is a scientist named Emily, who develops a process to give superpowers to ordinary people, accidentally giving said abilities to her friend Lydia, played by Melissa McCarthy. Hilarity ensues as they become the super duo known as Thunder Force. Also on April 9th, Amazon Prime Video brings Them, a horror movie based around a black family moving into an all-white neighborhood in the 1950s. That would probably be enough right there to quantify as a horror movie. But, as if racists weren't going to be enough to deal with, the house they are living in also has some other kind of disturbing paranormal thing going on as well. This looks like it's honestly going to be a great movie and will totally mess with your head at the same time. Good luck sleeping afterward. HBO Max has the limited series Mayor of Easttown premiering on April 18th on the streaming service. It's set in a small town in Pennsylvania and features Kate Winslet as a troubled detective who investigates a local murder while at the same time exploring the dark side of her family and the community she lives in. It sounds a little depressing, seems a little bit True Detective-like, but maybe she won't shove someone off a door to die in cold water in this one. Or maybe she will. Either way, I'll be watching. Going back to Hulu on April 20th, we have the docuseries Sasquatch. First off, yes, this does revolve around the rumor of Bigfoot allegedly tearing some people to pieces in the early 90s. And while it starts off there, and the exploration of this tale in rural America, it also starts to uncover all kinds of other mysteries. The true crime documentary seems like it's can't-miss television and one of those series that's going to be widely talked about when it begins airing. Netflix brings a solid dose of sci-fi to the service on April 22nd with Stowaway. The movie centers on a human mission to Mars in a world where that is now ordinary. However, what's not ordinary is the fact that an extra person accidentally stows away on the trip, which causes extreme damage to life support and cuts their survival time down dramatically. It stars Anna Kendrick and Toni Collette, and the crew is forced to confront and make nightmarish decisions as they try to figure out how to make it through the trip. Also on April 22nd, Netflix releases the highly anticipated and thoroughly interesting Life in Color with David Attenborough. The greatest natural historian ever on film will take a look at how color has an effect on the natural world and combine that with his soothing voice, and you have pretty much all you need here. HBO Max continues their year of releasing movies at the same time as they head to theaters with the reboot of Mortal Kombat on April 23rd. This is the first new Mortal Kombat movie since 1997. This version tells the tale of an MMA fighter who finds out he is destined to do battle with Sub-Zero and the gang in the Outworld in order to save the universe. I'm going to try not to say, "Finish him," but I can't. I'm sorry, I had no choice. Also on April 23rd, the live-action adaptation of the novel Shadow and Bone will release on Netflix. Shadow and Bone is based on the first book of the Grisha trilogy and takes place in a war-torn world where an orphan girl finds a way to unleash a power that could be the only thing that saves her country from the impending Shadowfold. It's dark, it's got war, it's got magic, it's gonna be awesome. Speaking of dark, it's finally time to return to Gilead, as The Handmaid's Tale Season 4 drops on April 28th with 2 new episodes to start it off. Season 3 finally gave us a little bit of hope for June and sane people, as we started to see some crumbling of the infrastructure and retribution against the monsters in charge, and hopefully that continues with this, as this seems more action-filled. However, it's already been renewed for Season 5, so it will be interesting to see what they add to the story this time around. Finally, fans of John Clancy get a movie version of the 1993 novel Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan. This is a spin-off of the Jack Ryan film series where Jordan plays Navy SEAL John Clark, who uncovers a secret conspiracy revolving around the murder of his wife by the Russians. This is exactly like it seems it's going to be, and Michael B. Jordan is pretty much gold in everything right now, so you know this is going to be good. So there you go. There's a bunch of things to watch in April, but did I hit everything? No, not at all. That's why I want your help. Please let us know in the comments what we missed, what you think we should be watching, what everyone should be watching. Help us all out by doing that. I would appreciate it. Also, please hit subscribe, share, like, all the things you normally do, and check out our other videos. We've got lots of great stuff up here on our channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Greg Nibler. Have fun streaming. All right. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. And thank you to everybody who is watching right now and tuning in to the Inbox with Greg Nibler. Again, this is our Friday show. We're live every Monday and Friday. We've got lots of other videos, though, like that one that we just showed you that are up on our YouTube channel. So go to there, youtube.com/2boxmedia. Hit subscribe, share it, like it, watch the videos. A lot of stuff. And we always have new things coming out. And that's why we appreciate everybody coming back to this. Again, you can always email us, info@2boxmedia.com. You can write me on Twitter, anywhere else that you want. And also, don't forget that we can help you make your streaming dreams come true. That's a line I just made up. You can tell me how that works. But we can help build a set. We can help you stream anything, whether it's something internal or external, or make your own show. We can help you out with all of that. So we always love doing it. Get a hold of us. Let's meet. Let's talk about it. Thank you, everybody. On behalf of myself, Mike Solis, Jess Serba, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday with another edition of The Inbox with Greg Nibler.